What's the most awkward situation you've ever been in? I was looking at my mom's phone cause she wanted to show me some pictures from what she did that weekend. I swiped one too many times and came across one of her nudes. I felt my soul jolt out of my body seeing that shit. Last summer my wife and I were browsing for random crap in Pier 1. I'm wandering around the store aimlessly and see my wife kneeling down inspecting some merchandise on the bottom shelf. I approach her from behind, slightly tap the top of her head, and go boop. It was not my wife, just someone who looked almost exactly like her from the back. She looks up at me. All I managed to say was, "Oh. I thought I was married to you. Sorry." This poor girl walked into my lecture by mistake about halfway through. This particular professor really enjoys talking to all of his students and was super engaging even with 400 plus students in his class. When the girl walked in, my professor stopped teaching, looked at the girl and asked if she was in the class. She said she was, and began walking towards the front where the open seats were. This is a fairly large lecture hall and all 200 students were now forced to watch this poor girl walk towards a seat because the professor didn't continue talking and just stared at her. She got close to the front and I think the pressure of the whole room got to her and she said, "Actually no I'm not," and turned around and we all had to watch this poor girl climb back up the stairs and out of the hall. I was literally watching my worst nightmare. One time in college, I snuck into my RA's room and hid under the blanket on his top bunk. My goal was to scare him when he came in and settled down a bit. He ended up coming in with his girlfriend and began making out with her. After a good couple moments, I jumped up and ran out. No saving it. I was a teenager with a boner. Pretty standard so far. I walked downstairs and had to tuck it in my pajamas so the head is sticking straight up and the erection is pinned against the body so the boner isn't noticeable. Well, when I put my t-shirt on it fell behind the tip so if you looked at my waistline you could clearly see the tip of my penis. I was talking to my mom for a few minutes and she was flushed red in the face and quickly trying to kill conversation. Not something my mom is known for. I walked away, saw what was going on and didn't know what the hell to do. We never discussed it but because things were so awkward at dinner, I'm pretty sure my mom knew that I realized it happened as well. I don't know if this is really the most awkward, but it was definitely awkward. I visit my biological dad's church in Mississippi a few years ago and spoke to his old preacher for a moment. One important detail for this story is that my dad died when I was 7, so a pretty good while back. My grandma told the preacher who I was. "This is Pamela Sr.'s daughter, Pamela." Preacher: "Oh Pamela Sr. Tell him I said hi for me." Me: "Sure thing." My grandma's face was priceless. We agreed the preacher would feel really awkward when he remembered later that my dad was dead.